And while the French embassy in Pakistan has advised all French nationals and companies to temporarily leave the country after violent anti-French protests paralyzed large parts of the country just this week. Our senior executive editor Abhishek Kapoor is joining us with more details. Abhishek, we've seen some of those visuals recently, how the Pakistan police has also been using tear gas and water cannon and whatnot on all of those protesters who've been staging these protests. But now an instruction coming in from the French embassy as well says all of those French companies, all of those people must leave the country. What exactly is going on, Abhishek?
Well, as they say, as you sow, so shall you reap. Pakistan is reaping the fruits of its own shenanigans because they have in many ways cultivated organizations like the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, and now the, so to say, chickens have come home to roost. What they are seeing is that Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan wanted the French ambassador, or wants in fact the French ambassador to leave the country by 28th, and they have been blocking all the arteries across Pakistan, particularly in bigger urban centers like Lahore and Karachi. And they are putting pressure on the government of Pakistan, which led the government of Imran Khan to ban the organization yesterday. And since then, we have seen the protests have actually increased in intensity. And the organization, which obviously seems to be having the backing of the extended jihadi organizations and the extended jihadist families that exist in Pakistan.
We'll reconnect that line with Abhishek, but we've been picking up several such visuals from across Pakistan and how clashes have been reported between forces and the TLP backers as well. Just to quickly give you an update, remember last year also TLP supporters had brought the capital to a standstill for 3 days with a series of anti-France rallies. The picture remains the same. We're looking at similar visuals coming in from across Pakistan, and that's the instruction being given out by the French embassy to its people. We have Mona Alam, who's a journalist from Pakistan, joining us on the phone line. Mona Alam, what exactly is going on in Pakistan? Just a year back, we saw similar sentiment prevailing, and once again, amid COVID, anti-French rallies taking place, and now French embassy instructing its people, its companies to leave the country and go away.
Well, yes, the situation has been there since last year. If I may recall, later last year is when this had developed. And it's because of the blasphemous content which had been promoted by the French government that a religious political party has taken to the streets of Pakistan, and they want the French ambassador removed. They want our diplomatic ties with France completely taken off, and they want the government to actually place a bill in the parliament regarding this. But I don't think government is going to do that because certainly this is a situation which is in France, and if these protesters have taken it to the streets in Pakistan, they are harming innocent citizens, civilians who have nothing to do whatsoever with whatever goes on in France or whatever the French government is doing. Yes, the French government is completely insensitive to the Muslim sentiments across the globe, but I don't think this is the way at all to react to that. And Pakistanis have no stakes in that. I think the Pakistani people have nothing to do with whatever has been done by the French government. So these protesters have yet taken it to the streets, and they're harming people, they're tarnishing property. And I think three of our policemen have also been martyred due to these riots. They're trying to take control of the situation, and Pakistan has placed a ban on this particular religious political party, the TLP, Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan. So we've placed a ban, a complete ban on this particular party. It has been endorsed by the federal cabinet as well as the provincial cabinet of Punjab. So I think it's going to take situation in a better place from here. Although, yes, they're also giving a backlash to this entire ban. It has been done yesterday, and there seems to be a severe backlash, rather, from the TLP and their workers and people who are their supporters.
All right.
They're trying to undo it, but I don't think that's possible. The police and whatever our law enforcement agencies are doing, I think they're going to take control of the situation very soon on even the streets of Pakistan.
So violence continues to take place, Mona Alam, as Pakistan has banned this terror group TLP. Thank you for speaking to us and really taking us through the ground situation there. Also joining us on this broadcast, Mr. Sushant Sareen, who's a strategic affairs expert. Mr. Sushant Sareen, you know, we've been seeing this situation in Pakistan. This is not new. We saw anti-France protests take place last year also, and situation going out of hand. Of course, this terror group is targeting the Imran Khan government and they've banned them also, but that's not really making a difference, is it?
To call it a terror group. It's a bona fide political party, albeit of a religious variety. For anybody to say that this is a terror group is to not understand where these people are coming from. That's the first point. The second point is that, yes, they have been agitating and there have been very violent protests. But please, Mona Alam, as usual with all Pakistanis, was being disingenuous. This was a party which has been not exactly created, but supported, spawned, sponsored by the Pakistani military establishment. Imran Khan was one of the biggest supporters of the TLP when he was in opposition. He used the TLP to clear the pitch for Nawaz Sharif. When the TLP held its first big demonstration on the outskirts of Islamabad and blocked roads, Imran Khan actually was on their side. He was supporting them. Imran Khan is a Taliban in any case, but that's not the whole story. His wife, Pinky Pivni, who's another, a kind of a Rasputin-like figure, has also counseled him to not take any strict action against them for donkey's years. To suddenly now for these people, and please remember, the government of Pakistan, successive governments, have signed half a dozen accords. Every time these guys have agitated, the governments have promised them certain things and reneged on the promise. And this latest protest is again because the government has reneged on a promise. They said that the demands regarding France will be taken to Parliament. The TLP has been insisting that you take it to Parliament and let the Parliament either approve or disapprove of what we are demanding. The government of Pakistan, Imran Khan's government, got cold feet at the last minute and arrested their fellow. That is how the things have gone out of control. To suddenly turn around and say that these people who have been favorites of the Pakistani army to actually fix Nawaz Sharif, to raise a counter force against Nawaz Sharif, and to raise a counter force of Barelvi Muslims, whom we in India call Sufis, and we don't understand where these guys come from, but we tend to support these people. Also, in India, the same lot in Pakistan was raised by the Pakistan army to counter the Deobandis and the LARDs. Now for people like Mona Alam and everybody else to turn around and say that this is a terrorist group, etc., that is your own genie and your own Frankenstein monster coming back to haunt you. It's as simple as that. And to call these people, this is the underclass of Pakistan. This is a revolt of the underclass of Pakistan. Please try to understand that. Yes, they are fanatics, no doubt about it. Yes, they are religiously motivated, no doubt about it. But they are not terrorists.
Sushant Sareen, the problem is that these are not terrorists, but this is a mainstream political party, and that makes it more worrisome. They are part of the mainstream. They are people who can get their law minister to resign because the law minister in his wisdom thought that he could change a law, but he was not allowed to. This is a mainstream political party which can decide that fatwas should be issued against Supreme Court justices because they allowed the acquittal of Asia Bibi. I mean, then in that case, Pakistan has more to worry than from these kind of organizations than even the terrorist organizations.
But tell me something, isn't Pakistan an Islamic state? In an Islamic state, how are the demands which the TLP is making un-Islamic or unconstitutional? The Pakistani constitution has to run according to the precepts of Islam that is laid down in the Pakistani constitution. What are these people asking which is not there in the Pakistani constitution? Now, this is Pakistan's Islamic hypocrisy coming back to haunt it. So, yes, what is there to be worried about? Pakistan, the Pakistanis keep talking about being the fortress of Islam and all of that nonsense which they keep spouting. So, when a genuinely Islamic force has come about and is demanding that you do everything according to the precepts of Islam, then why are people running scared? Why are they not giving in to what these people are asking?
Sushant, I would say that this is something which should worry us as well, because if there are terrorist organizations, we can call them terrorist organizations around the world. We can do that and hope that the global pressure would work. Well, this is working of democracy. This is a political party, not a terrorist organization, irrespective of from where it draws its strength. Remember, the party came to prominence on the back of protests after Mumtaz Qadri, the killer of Salman Taseer, was hanged. I think, do you see a role for India there somewhere, or it's a matter of concern for us, or should be a matter of concern for us?
No, why should it be a matter of concern for us? We should not make the same mistake. For example, there has been a tendency in India to say that, okay, we should promote Sufi Islam. Nobody in this country understands what Sufi Islam is. But, some kind of music is suddenly labeled as Sufi music and everybody starts dancing around it without understanding a damn thing about Islam or Sufi Islam. So I think we need to educate ourselves and not make the same mistakes of propping one Islamic sect against another. We should treat all fundamentalists with the same, tar them with the same brush. That's point number one. Point number two,
Right.
as far as Pakistan is concerned, I would hold a box of popcorn and put on the TV and watch what Pakistan has brought upon itself. Why should I worry about it?
Well, let's see. I don't know whether we can be that unconcerned given the fact that it's happening right next door, so to say, geopolitically speaking. Sushant, thank you so much. On this note, I toss it back to the anchor in the newsroom.